All right. Good morning, traders. Happy Friday Eve. Today is Thursday, July the 10th. My brother in law's birthday. He turns 53 today. So happy birthday to Greg. I every Thursday go live for about 15 minutes just to walk through my morning watch list breakdown for potential day trades today. I do the same thing every day. Good morning, Mike. Good to see you. I don't know about y'all, but I am a creature of habit. So let me share my screen real quick and show you what I do each and every day as I am preparing for potential trades. I not only day trade, I'm also a swing trader and leap trader, and of course, a long term investor, as I am sure many of you are as well. Good morning, Shuby. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. But so the first thing I want to look at every morning is I need to know what economic data is being coming out for the day. I like to use the Forex Factory calendar mainly because it gives me these pretty colors on the folders, and those indicate the amount of impact expected with the economic data. So you can see here today on Thursday, July the 10th, we have unemployment claims coming out at 8:30 Eastern time before the market opens. And then we have some Fed speakers that will be speaking as the market is open, as well as natural gas storage, the 30-year bond auction, some more Fed speakers, and looks like that's it for today. So once I know what planned economic data is coming out, the next thing I want to do is I want to pay attention to the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq just to see how they are trading in the overnight session. And I can see here that everything is pretty flat. Bitcoin is down some. That is to be expected. It did make new all-time highs yesterday. We were in the trendy room. We were in some IBIT options, which I cashed out there at all time highs and looking for a pullback there. So maybe IBIT will be on my watch list this morning. I'm not sure just yet. But the S&P 500 is down 1 point, basically flat. Gold is up 6.5 points, but I call that flat. The Nasdaq's up 6, call that flat. The Russell is up a little, and the YM is lagging behind. It is red right now, but really, honestly, it's pretty flat as well as bonds. So my synopsis for the day is everything is going to open up close to where we closed on yesterday. Next, I want to look at the sectors, and I have a watch list with the sectors that I watch. And I want to see if I notice any outperforming sectors, meaning that they're up a higher percent than the overall market. And I can see here that Jets is way up almost 3.5%. Delta Airlines reported earnings, and the market loved their earnings report. So the Jets ETF is definitely up this morning and outperforming. Then semiconductors are also outperforming as they're up over a half of a percent. Oil is down. It's underperforming. Not surprising, as the YM is the laggard today, and it is affected by the fact that USO is down. more than the average across the board. Metals and mining is an outperformer. For day trading, that isn't really a factor for me because there's not any symbols in there that are on my day trading watch list. But I just want to point out that they're an outperformer this morning as well as gold miners. So, with that in mind, semiconductors is a sector that I often day trade. So, I will be looking for a semiconductor to have on my watch list this morning. Then I'm going to go to my PMZ possibilities watch list. PMZ is the indicator that I use to day trade. It gives me my entry as well as biased whether to be in calls or puts. So, this is a list from Apple all the way down to ExxonMobil. I have a variety of different stocks in this list. They're all affordable for my allocation amount and they are liquid, meaning they have volume and open interest to a day trade. So, looking at this list, I can see that Apple, Amazon, some of your Mag 7s, Google, for instance, they're all red this morning, even though the Qs are green. That means they are relatively underperforming more to the downside than the index itself. I always note that because typically, as the Mag 7 goes, the NQ is going to go and they're showing some weakness. All of them except for NVIDIA, which that semiconductor ETF is outperforming today. So NVIDIA is up almost 1%. Now, as far as the semiconductor sector goes, I like to day trade AMD, NVIDIA, as well as Taiwan Semiconductors and Broadcom. So I'm going to take a look at each one of those. What I'm looking for is on my day trading chart, I want to know just how much room I have to the upside or to the downside because it's important to be flexible. So with AMD, it is inside of the red zone, which is my target zone to the upside. I would expect resistance in this area for AMD. It's up 2% pre market. So it is performing well in the pre market, but whoa, it is in an area that I would expect resistance, or it was until that 5-minute candle right there. So I want to keep that in mind. And as I expected, it just came back basically to where it closed yesterday, and then it spiked right back up into that zone. So AMD probably won't make my list today because if the semiconductors are moving to the upside, I don't really want to pick a name that is currently in a target zone because I am expecting resistance in this area, not a lot of upside potential. Next, I'm going to look at Broadcom and see what I have for Broadcom. Broadcom is at all-time highs, meaning there's blue skies ahead. I need to use Fibonacci extensions as my targets. So for Broadcom, I'm going to change this level. This was the previous all-time high. I'm going to change that to the new all-time high of 280. And I can see using Fibonacci extensions, these would be my upside targets for today. Now, I always keep in mind the daily ATR. average trading range, average true range. This name moves $7 to $8 a day. So going back to my 5-minute chart, and price is basically right at 287 to $8 would put it up here in the top of my Fibonacci extensions, telling me that these are good extension targets to the upside. Right now, and this PMZ indicator won't print on my screen until 5 minutes before the opening bell, but these labels give me an idea of where it is going to print. So I can see that the top of the PMZ or my trigger long would be at 279.86, and I know that I have that all-time high just above there. And the PMZ low or trigger short is 279.72. Now below that level, what do I have that could act as support? First is this trendy edge here at about 278.60. So that's going to give me an idea of just how much reward I have to the downside right now. And again, these numbers can change and probably will change before the open. But I can see that with AVGO, I have upside potential as well as downside potential, staying nimble on my feet to trade it to either direction. So AVGO could be a name that I'm watching. Next, I'm going to click on NVIDIA and see what I have as far as upside and downside targets for NVIDIA. It is also at all-time highs. Yesterday became the most valuable company in America, uh, $4 trillion value or something crazy like that. It is making new all-time highs. My Fibonacci extension targets for NVIDIA are 165.86 to 168.92, and it's currently at 164 and a half. Looking at the daily trading range, it moves just shy of $4. So I want to check, is the top of my targets meet that $4 expected move? And it does. So again, these are good targets for me to the upside. As far as downside, I can see here using Fibonacci levels as well as trendy edges gives me some downside targets here. Again, the PMZ is labeled up here, and I know about where it is going to open. It gives me a risk. This will change. I like about a 50 cent to a dollar risk on my day trades, and I want to make sure that my reward is at least that. So for NVIDIA, my reward would be about a $1.30 from where price is now, and that is higher than that 50 cent to a dollar risk. So NVIDIA is a viable option for day trading today. Next up, I'll look at TSM and see if it is giving me a better setup either to the upside or downside, better than Broadcom, NVIDIA, or uh, AMD. So for TSM, I have both an upside and a downside target because it's not at all-time highs. So if I am trading above 233, my target zone is 235 to 237 and a half. That tells me that I've got about a $3 to $5 reward up in here. And then as far as the downside goes below 233, I again have a $3 to $5 reward to the downside. So TSM would be an option. But I want to show you one reason why it is not going to be my top pick for day trades today, and that is because it is stuck between two important Fibonacci zones. A golden pocket measuring an uptrend and then a golden pocket measuring a downtrend. That can often lead to very choppy conditions and not one that I like to day trade in. So, my top pick in this name or in this sector is going to be Nvidia today. So NVIDIA will be one of the 3 stocks that I'm gonna watch for day trades. I'm going to just jot that down on a scratch piece of paper, and then I'm going to look at another potential setup. I like to pick three. I like to use this active on social and pick a social sentiment name potentially. You can see AMD and Amazon, ASTS, these are all names that I would be interested in day trading, as well as Google. Meta's a little expensive for my allocation and how I like to buy at the money. So I'm not going to put Meta on that list. Some of these others, like PROK, it just has no liquidity, not a lot of volume in their options. So I wouldn't even entertain that. Reddit could be a play. I'll just take a look here at Reddit to see what kind of trading range I would have. I like to use a 2 hour chart when planning my buy and sell zones. The sell zone on Reddit today is going to be 154 to 164. I have inside and down candle formation in this area. So that would be my target zone to the upside. And then as far as a target zone or a buy zone, to the downside on a dip, I'm going to use the same inside and up candle formations to find where I would be interested in buying the dip. And that's going to be 143.95 by 139.26. So, as far as targets go, either to the upside or the downside, on Reddit, I would be targeting from where price is at right now for a downside target. That would pay me about $3 to $7, and upside target would pay me about 8 to $18 to the upside. Now, as far as finding trims, I like to run 2 sets of Fibonacci levels and then keep on the chart the ones that make sense for trims. So I'm first going to keep the 382 on the chart because I have some confluence with trendy edges there. The 618 and the 50 are right at my target zone, so I'm going to remove both of those. And I'm going to keep the 764 and the 887 on there because they do give me targets inside of my sell zone. So that's how I have come up with targets to the upside. Now, as far as targets go to the downside, I'm going to use this low from Friday, last Friday, up to the high. And the only level I'm going to keep on here is the 764 because it makes sense to use as a support level or a target if I am short. The 887 is right at my target zone, so no need to leave that on there. And then everything above there is too far above price and not needed for downside trim targets. So looking at Reddit to the upside, I have more potential. I am going to place a mark on this trendy edge because that is resistance until proven otherwise. So I can see as far as first targets go on Reddit would be 148.43 and then 150.18 and a final target up here. For downside targets, it's right where price is at 146.27, but then the ultimate target down here. I got decent risk to reward. Remember, I like 50 cents to a dollar. So above the PMZ high for Reddit here, I would have 46.82, so about a dollar 60 there to first target. That is a good risk to reward. If I'm risking about 50 cents, that's a good risk to reward for me. So possibly Reddit could make the list, but I want to take a look at ASTS because this was a name that we traded earlier and collected profits on a swing trade. And it is setting up not just in this 2-hour zone, but also some higher time frame zones that could be support and a place to get long from. So above the PMZ high, which is lining up right at my buy zone, my first target would be about a dollar above there. Now, this is a golden pocket. I do expect sellers in this area. So, this might be my ultimate reward to the upside. I need to keep that in mind. About a dollar 20 of reward, and my zone itself is about 90 cents. So if I am taking this trade, my risk would be 90 and my first reward would be a dollar to a dollar 50. Not the best risk to reward, really, honestly, but if price can get back above this golden pocket to the downside, then that upside target looks much better as far as reward goes. So that is one key factor for me. Also on this list, we can take a look at Amazon and just see where we're at in price. It is in between my buy and sell zones, or my target to the upside, my target to the downside. Right now, the PMZ high is 221.78. As far as resistance or trim targets above there go, I do have this immediate resistance at 222 and then the line in the sand at 222.30. So there's not a lot of reward to that first area of resistance. As far as the downside goes, short below 221 78, I have a trendy edge here at 221.43, then a double stack of edges plus this key Fibonacci level down here. To me, rather than trading Amazon out of the PMZ, this area in here would be a better buy zone for me to go for a day trade. So getting long at about 221 and set my stop below 220.67. That's a risk of about 33 cents. And then, as far as reward would go, if I get long here at 221, I got about 43 cents to the first because this would now be resistance. And then up here at this double stack area, I would have about a dollar of reward. So, Amazon, same kind of idea or same basically risk to reward as the other two names on this list of names. So I might just not have anything worth trading off of this list today. I'll go back to the PMZ list and look at some outperformers here. Now, as gold goes up, the NASDAQ or ES is typically going down and vice versa. Does gold provide nice reward to the upside or downside? Because we never know how the market is going to flow each from day to day. No matter how much we'd like to think, we know we don't. So upside reward on gold is about $3 from where price is at right now, and downside reward on gold is about $3 from where price is at right now. Gold does it is setting up in an interesting spot for me. I have a lot of confluence right where price is at to be either support or resistance. So I'm going to put gold down as a potential day trade today. Don't know if I'll trade it to the upside or downside, but these are the levels to the downside that I would trim and target. And these are the levels to the upside that I would trim and target for gold. Now I need one more name, and I'm looking at these outperformers. I know that Oracle is at or very near all time highs. It has been an outperformer. Where price is now to my first area of resistance on Oracle or my target zone is about $2. And as far as downside potential, I have these levels that I would be interested in trimming at and then targeting. So if the NASDAQ is going to have a down day today, possibly Oracle could play into some of these lower targets. I will say that my zone, although my buy zone or my target to the downside is down here at 234.52, I'm going to pay special attention to this golden pocket because this could be as much of a pullback as it is going to give today if I am short below the PMZ. So I'm going to make that a gray zone there, and I'm going to use it as my target when I'm figuring risk to reward. That's about $3. And upside, again, 241.44, sorry, is an all-time high. Above there, if price gets above there, I would use Fibonacci extensions. So I like Oracle as a potential trade. So for today, I'm going to be focusing on NVIDIA, Oracle, and gold. So that wraps up how I create my watch list day in and day out. I hope you found this content valuable. And I look forward to trading with you in the trendy room. If you haven't already, please give the video a like. I can see that two of you have liked it. If you could just take a moment, give this video a like, and I would surely appreciate that. If you're not in the trendy trading room where Trendy John and I trade live all day, Monday through Friday, you can join us. There is a link in the description of this video, and you can join us in there for a minimal fee of $7. It gets you a 30-day trial to the Trendy Trading Room, and we would love to have you become a part of our Trendy Trading family. Until next time, guys, have a great trading day.